Hello, my name is Joseph Beige. I'm a real estate attorney here on Long Island, and today I'd like to talk to you about how to estimate your closing costs. Now, the first thing that you need to understand is why closing costs and estimating them are important to you as a purchaser. The reason is twofold. One is the most important and the most obvious, which is you want to have enough money at the closing table to complete your purchase and move into your dream home. That's why you did this whole process. The second reason it's also very important is a little more legalese-wise, and that's that if you're short money at the closing and you're not able to complete the purchase, your down payment may be at risk. Now, before we go further, I'm not going to hold you in suspense. I've been doing real estate for almost 3 decades, and the most accurate way I've found to estimate your closing costs is to use the rule of thumb of 6 to 6.5% of your purchase price. Now, before we get into how we estimate the closing costs, let's discuss very quickly what they are so that we're on the same page. Closing costs are basically everything other than your down payment or your equity portion of the purchase. If you're buying a house for, let's say, $100,000 and you're putting $20,000 down and mortgaging 80% or $80,000, that $20,000 is not your closing cost. That's your equity portion. Let's talk about what your closing fees are. And there are going to basically be 3 categories that your closing costs are going to fall into. They're going to be lender's fees, which are the costs associated with getting your loan. That will be fees and expenses such as the bank attorney fees, credit report, points on your mortgage, and such. The second category will be your title-related fees. This will be for title insurance and the various searches that the title company will do, such as your survey, COs, and violations. The third category, which will be your single biggest expense at the closing, will be for escrows and adjustments. We'll talk about that third category in a little more detail. The first 2, lender costs and title costs, will be subject of separate videos. Now, when we're talking about escrows and adjustments, we're mostly talking about taxes. At your closing, you are going to pay approximately 3/4 of a year's worth of the property taxes in one sitting. Now, that usually gives clients sticker shock, and understandably, because it's a big number. But let's work through the math a little bit so you can understand how we get there. Now, let's deal with the Suffolk County property as an example. Suffolk's easy because property taxes are paid twice a year and they cover a 6-month tax period. Let's say you're closing right smack in the middle. 3 months have passed, 3 months are still to go on the tax period. The seller has paid the taxes for 6 months but only lived in the house for 3. You're going to live in it for the final 3 months of that tax period, so it's only fair that you pay them back. So that's 3 months of the adjustment that you're going to pay right to the seller. Okay, so we're going to put a 3 up here. Now, let's move over to the lender side. Your lender, your bank, okay, is going to pay your taxes for you. They're going to pay your taxes, and they're going to do that by taking 1/12 of a year's taxes in payments each month. No problem. That's easy. Now, the problem is that you're closing with 3 months left, and they're only going to collect 2 mortgage payments from you by the time they've got to pay another 6-month payment. So to compensate for that, at the closing, your lender is going to take 4 months worth of taxes from you. We'll put the 4 back up here. Okay, remember, we got 3 and 4, so we're up to 7. Now, your lender, when they pay that 6 months, is not going to want to have a 0 escrow balance. So they're going to take at least 1 month, most likely 2 months, as an escrow to create a cushion. Let's throw the 2 up there. 7 and 2 is 9. We're now at 3/4 of a year's property taxes in one shot in one day. But if you factor in, as a rule of thumb, 6 to 6.5%, you shouldn't have a problem at your closing table. Hopefully I shed a little light on the subject because you can't make decisions in the dark. If you have any questions, my contact information will be at the end of this video. You can find me on the web at beigelaw.com. That's BEIGELAW.com. You can call the office, send me an email. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can. Thank you.